I was going to bring a large tome up here to reflect the fact that there are 50 years of career to discuss, but I thought that might scare off some of you. So I confess that I have the simultaneously enviable and daunting task of trying to introduce and pay tribute to Dr. Paul D. Schettler, a colleague, mentor, and friend, who has been impacting the lives of students and faculty members at Juniata College in memorable and meaningful ways since he arrived in Huntington in the summer of 1967. When Schetz, as he has been known to generations of students and professors, retires at the end of this semester, he will complete his 50th year of service to this small, distinctive, beloved liberal arts college in the rolling hills of central Pennsylvania. Careful research by college archivist Jan Hartman, to whom I am deeply indebted for her help, confirms that presently he is the member of the Juniata faculty with the longest tenure and has in fact served on the faculty longer than any professor in the history of the college. How does one take the measure of a man? Is it simply longevity? I think not. A number of rubrics have been suggested for this purpose, but I would opine that we may best measure the influence of a person by the way they spend their time and their money, and by looking at the lives they have touched. Paul excels in all three metrics. Schetz appears as the cover guy of the most recent issue of Juniata magazine, where you can read more about his life and long career at Juniata. Our thanks go to John Wall for help for putting together that nice article. I will hit the highlights by noting that he was born and grew up in Utah. His mother had a master's degree in biology, and his father was a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford in philosophy. So perhaps Paul was destined to be an academic. From an early age, Paul, or D as he is known to his family, displayed a love of adventure and exploring the wonders of nature, as well as an innate curiosity about scientific matters. While it may be somewhat difficult to picture now, as a child he sang in the choir at the local Methodist church and even performed concerts at a nearby Indian reservation, as it would have been known in those days. Paul graduated from East High School in Salt Lake City in 1954 and then completed a bachelor's degree in chemistry at the University of Utah in 1958. He headed east to pursue doctoral studies in physical chemistry at Yale and received his doctorate in 1964. After a postdoctoral stint at Yale and additional training at the University of Utah, Paul accepted a one-year teaching postdoc position at Antioch College. It was here that he further developed a vision of how his career as a teacher-scholar would develop. In the spring of 1967, Paul applied for a position at a liberal arts college, centrally isolated in Pennsylvania. In a letter from the then chair of the department, Dale Wampler, he was informed that at Juniata, the chemistry department has a staff of 5 full-time members. The department has a long tradition of preparing most of its graduates for graduate study. The college was one of the first small colleges to be added to the American Chemical Society's list of approved schools. The chemistry department has a strong program of undergraduate research both during the summer and the academic year. Juniata College wishes to add to its faculty persons who are graduates of similar small liberal arts colleges. Emphasis is placed upon excellence of classroom teaching with opportunity for individual research and student research projects. Members of the faculty are expected to take an interest in individual students. I think it's the same place we're talking about. Do you remember that? Paul was intrigued, but he could not have known at that time what he was getting himself into. After accepting the position, Paul and his wife Karen moved to Huntington. Paul often has recounted to me how, as he drove his car down Mifflin Street toward the campus in the late summer of 1967, his wife began to weep. They were not tears of joy. He reassured her that this was only temporary, fully expecting to move on to bigger and better things in a year or two. How wrong he was, and how fortunate Juniata is. There are a significant number of us here tonight who were not even born when Paul started here that fall semester of 1967. I was just starting kindergarten at the time. The moon landing was still almost 2 years off. Lyndon B. Johnson was president of the United States, and our country was engaged in and divided over the Vietnam War. We were still on the gold standard, and dinosaurs roamed the earth. Okay, the last part was hyperbole. To give you some perspective, in 1967, Juniata College was half its current size at 110 acres and had only about 1,100 students. The total cost of attending Juniata was a mere $2,450, compared to the current number of about $51,760, an increase of 2,012.6530612244899%. Of course, I am rounding a bit, but physical chemists like to be precise, and they worry about significant figures. At that time, Juniata had 2 dining halls, about which students probably still found something to complain about, and Saturday classes. All students had to memorize all 3 stanzas of the alma mater. At next week's convocation, I expect to see some of my colleagues who have been here a number of years still needing to read the lyrics of the one verse we sing. And some of the students may not even know we have a college song. College freshmen wore dinks, a special kind of hat, and all students had to dress for dinner Monday through Thursday, a coat and tie for men and dresses for women. It was certainly a different world back then, as nowadays some students show up in pajamas and baseball caps for morning classes. In 1967, the Brumbaugh Science Center was the new science building, having been completed in 1965, and it had, quote, the most up-to-date and best-equipped facilities for chemistry, including an IBM 1620 computer with a whopping 20 kilobytes of memory. Finally, the average salary for a full professor at that time was $13,500. Some things never change. Quickly established himself in the department as an outstanding teacher, a dedicated researcher, and a good colleague. At the time, the chemistry faculty included Don Rockwell, Ava Hartzler, Bill Russey, and Don Mitchell, who had arrived at Juniata in the same year as Paul. Paul was soon to be joined by Ruth Reed and Tom Fisher, and then by Dave Reingold and A.G. Ochiai. There are numerous stories that have been told about the adventures and near-death experiences that Paul had either by himself or with members of the department, usually involving his personal airplane. Paul related to me how one time he was flying in the Grand Canyon in his small plane when he decided it was time to head home. However, when he tried to climb out of the mile-deep canyon, he discovered that after many attempts, his plane was unable to gain enough altitude to clear the rim of the canyon. After many attempts, he resigned himself to having to make an emergency landing in the base of the canyon. But suddenly, his plane caught a thermal and was almost instantaneously lifted to 10,000 feet. Paul took this, like so many similar incidents, in stride. At our recent chemistry department dinner, Don Mitchell regaled us with many more tales of airborne adventures. He also described a more terrestrial Grand Canyon episode in which he and Paul hiked down to the Colorado River from the North Rim. After a brief rest, they headed out intending to take the South Kaibab Trail to the South Rim, where Don's wife Becky was waiting for them. At the trailhead, there was a sign warning them that this was the steepest trail in the canyon, had little shade and no water, and therefore hikers were strongly urged to take another route. Characteristically, Paul said, "Well, it only says we shouldn't, not we can't." They took the trail and lived to tell the tale. In general, Paul seems to like to go to extremes, having hiked to the base camp of Mount Everest when he was in his late 60s, and having spent many holidays with his family members, including his son George and daughter Becky, who are here this evening, on the desolate but beautiful Canadian Arctic islands, such as Baffin Island and Ellesmere Island, which are well north of the Arctic Circle. When he was not cheating death, Paul was an engaging, demanding, and highly regarded teacher in and outside of the classroom and laboratory. While organic chemistry sometimes gets a bad rap as the tough college chemistry course, usually from frustrated pre-medical students, we all know that this distinction really belongs to physical chemistry. Paul went to great lengths to make this difficult subject accessible to his students. For many years, he held court in BSc, as it was known, and then in VLB every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday evening for 3 hours a night. In addition to the 3 hours of classroom work each week, P-Chem students would dutifully come to labor through stimulating homework problems, and Schetz would be there to answer questions and challenge and refine their understanding. One student recalled a memorable classroom experience from Paul's early days at Juniata. One day, Dr. S was discussing molecular motion when suddenly he picked up a tennis racket and balls. He started hitting the balls around the room, bouncing them off of the walls and discussing their motion in relationship to atoms. Most of the students were ducking and diving in order to avoid being hit by any of the tennis balls. In the laboratory, Schettler carried out groundbreaking, innovative research in the 1970s in the area of shale gas extraction, foreshadowing the natural gas boom from the Marcellus Shale that lies below his adopted state. In addition, he made important contributions in the area of using modeling to predict the behavior of analytes in gas chromatographic columns. His work has brought in more than $1.3 million in research grants over the years. His quantum mechanical Weltanschauung led him more recently to explore the field of quantum biology. At the bookend seminar Paul gave last week, he credited the excellence of his Juniata colleagues and the spirit of collaboration as the key to success in his professional endeavors. I have worked with Paul for 16 years now and have profound respect for him as a person, a teacher, and a scholar. Physical chemistry may be his specialty, but I believe he views himself foremost as a scientist, an explorer of atomic and molecular worlds, and one who appreciates and can navigate in treacherous quantum mechanical waters. Paul is unmistakably possessed of a brilliant intellect and has broad-ranging interests outside the field of chemistry. Though he enjoys teaching that subject, he has also taught non-technical courses like Science versus the Individual and the interdepartmental colloquium Modern Knowledge on the Self. Schettler recognizes that science in a vacuum accomplishes little, and that as scientists we need to be able to communicate scientific results and explanations to other scientists and non-scientists alike. In preparation for this talk, I was looking through my files and found a note he had written to a student who had not yet put forth his best effort in a written summary of a summer research project. Characteristically, Paul wrote, "Do you care about the extent to which you can communicate to the next generation of scientists? This matter of communication between scientists is, I would claim, a distinguishing feature of science, where each generation is more capable than the last. Ancient Greek philosophers are still in vogue, but ancient Greek scientists are generally considered weird." Paul was willing to put in the time to do what it takes to help his students learn and be successful, and this has characterized his entire career. In 1978, he received the Beachley Award for distinguished teaching, and his plaque hangs along the hallway on the second floor of BAC, along with his 1995 Beachley Award for distinguished academic service. He was also named a Charles A. Dana Professor. Time is running short, and I came to honor Schettler, not bury him with accolades. So I will just conclude by mentioning that Paul is also a very generous benefactor of the college, having personally contributed to student research, the construction of the physical chemistry laboratories in the von Liebig Center for Science, and more recently, the Innovative Educational Initiative grants. Did I also mention that he was of significant service to the American Chemical Society for many years as a local section counselor, or that in 1980 he was responsible for organizing the first exchange between Juniata and the Lille Catholic University in France, and thereby contributed to the establishment of the strong study abroad program we enjoy today? How about the fact that he is an accomplished photographer and a great animal lover? At the end of March, Paul turned 80, and on that day, I asked several of his former colleagues to send me their thoughts about him in anticipation of this evening. They all offered congratulations, but it's Lorraine Mulfinger, who taught here for 8 years and is now at Penn State, that perhaps sums it up best when she wrote, "Paul Schettler is truly an outstanding human being. His mentorship was invaluable to my career as a developing Juniata faculty member. He has the unique ability to recognize and develop talents and abilities in students and faculty with diverse backgrounds and interests, and to bring these individuals together in an egalitarian environment that optimizes participation and solidifies truly synergistic interdisciplinary working relationships. His combined intellectual brilliance and social intelligence put him in a category of his own." In the past, Paul adamantly maintained, "I will never retire. They will carry me out of my office." This was affectionately referred to as the Schettler retirement plan. Paul may be officially retiring, but he and his influence will surely be with us for a long time to come. If you look on the second floor of von Liebig, you will see that his recently installed larger-than-life portrait, which was conceived and commissioned by the students in Chem Club as a tribute to Schettler, will be a constant reminder of his important contributions over the past 50 years. Metaphorically speaking, Schettler will never really leave the building. To modify a well-known phrase, old physical chemists never retire. As x goes to infinity, their wave function simply goes to zero. If you don't get that, ask Paul. Please join me in congratulating Paul D. Schettler for a job.
To all of you for putting up with me for 50 years. I guess perhaps what I should start with was one of the things that Richard said about my wife bursting into tears on Mifflin Street. I made a mistake in about 1996. I took a sabbatical back to Utah. And at the end of the sabbatical, she says, I don't want to go back to Pennsylvania. You told me that you were only going to be there a year. And so I want to stay here. I said, you have to come back. I have to go back. And we argued that way for a while, and my final losing argument was, well, wait a minute. Who's going to do the dishes? Well, guess who's been doing the dishes? And, I just wanted to say quickly, what brought me here was that I realized even while at the beginning of my interview that Juniata was a kind of a special place because of what I just thought of as the multi-dimensional interrelationships between the various faculty and the faculty and students. And I just wanted to quickly kind of run down a list of such things. One of the things that happened here, we formed an after church hiking group on Sunday. I guess it was up to about maybe 10 of us. We'd just go wandering off into the woods with various dogs and so forth every Sunday. This developed then into the chemistry department decided, wait a minute, first of all, we started doing Thanksgiving trips out into the state parks. Nobody goes to a state park in Thanksgiving, except the chemistry department. And what did we do? We had chemistry, we had science, Thanksgiving dinner. And this culminated in a grand tour of the national parks. Driving along, 3 cars, somebody slams to a stop, open the door, change a diaper, everybody jumps in the car, and off we go again. We camped out in Yellowstone, in tents, about 100 feet away from where we ate. That's the way it was there because there are bears. You hope the bears go to where you eat rather than where you sleep. Most people take something more substantial to sleep in other than tents. We didn't. But, hey, experiences like that are change the dimension of the relationships. We've had a relationship among the old chemistry department that, It's just irreplaceable. Let's see, what else do we want to say? Well, the other thing I did want to say here, talking about the quality of the place. In the 70s, 80s, 90s, everybody had pocket calculators. Instead of iPhones, they had pocket calculators. And guess what got stolen a lot? Calculators. And I was very proud. Wait a minute. I would leave my calculator here or there or wherever and never lost one. And I mentioned that anybody outside of the college, and they were just aghast that this could be the case. That the quality of people was of that high quality. Finally, one year, I couldn't find my calculator. This was in the fall. I had to buy a new calculator. In the spring, my wife emptied the summer clothes out of where she had stored them, and out fell the calculator. So I just say again, it has been a wonderful 50 years. I could not have done better anywhere else. And thank you so much for having me.